Hey everybody, how are we all doing today? My name is Dean, aka Decent Treatment. Welcome to the Electric Airship podcast. Today's guest is an enigma among RPG Maker developers. His projects take more inspiration from the Souls games, or Lisa the Painful, than Final Fantasy. This pushes him to challenge the engine's norms with mechanics like side-scrolling movement and interconnected level design. But that's not all. Their games tend to push boundaries philosophically and morally as well. Religious and horror theming are common among his works. You might know him from the cult classic Orompaquenga or this year's Equi-Ungula. Please welcome Isopodomancer, aka Horse Hoof Games.
As he said, I'm Isopodomancer or Ildefonso Paez too, but people know me for Isopodomancer.
Yeah.
I want to excuse my in case it is difficult to understand me because I'm from Spain. It's English is not my native language.
In a previous interview, you mentioned getting your start making Scratch games and then eventually Minecraft mods. Did anything about these early experiments inform your later games?
Mm, mm, at first, I wanted to take ideas and projects from those past experiences to RPG Maker, but I wasn't sure and they didn't really stick with me.
hmm
I didn't find them interesting anymore, so I never really did. I I never I didn't even start.
Right on. So you kind of evolved beyond that, started becoming more interested in other things?
Yeah, like I'm good to say that I discovered Dark Souls and where my RPGs back then used to be more based on Undertale and kind of meme thing.
Oh, okay. Right on. So that's a pretty stark difference, right? You know, because Dark Souls, there's this emphasis on like world building and everything, and then Undertale is maybe more character oriented. Um, yeah, that's fascinating. But I definitely do see a little bit of influence from Undertale, maybe in your later work. Is that like? Do you think so?
I actually, despite loving Undertale, never used it as an inspiration for my games.
Wow.
Okay, I think that might surprise a lot of people. That's cool.
Maybe in a future project.
Yeah. All right. Well, Orompaquenga has got to be one of my favorite RPG Maker games of all time.
I'd best
Thank you.
describe it.
Yeah, yeah. As a turn-based Soulslike with hand-drawn visuals and a psychedelic rock original soundtrack. The mass, a giant ball of grease, threatens to consume the world, thus a sense of hopelessness permeates the experience. Most people look at the game and think it's inspired by Off, or, you know, I guess something like Undertale or something like this, right? But you've been pretty clear about Mothlight being your primary inspiration. What's your biggest takeaway from Mothlight?
Maybe the level design and the way the NPCs express themselves. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Moonlight. Actually, the first levels of Orompaquenga look pretty similar to Moonlight. Um, near it's near copy.
hmm
Not exactly, but in fact, I had to change it because I was like, okay, this is way too similar. I need to change this. Um, the level design and the way the sounds interconnect with each other was taken from Moonlight and the visuals especially. I really liked the color themed tones.
Yeah, yeah, that was probably one of the most effective visual motifs in Orompaquenga. It was like how distinct each zone was, and I think you just got a lot of mileage out of the tint screen. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, but it works so well, um, and yeah, so it's cool to hear that you pulled that, or at least in part, as inspiration from Mothlight. Um, yeah, and I can definitely see what you're talking about with the way that characters express themselves as well. Um, just in terms of some of the themes. You can sort of hear Scumhead's voice, through the frustration of some of the NPCs, and yeah, maybe there's something similar in Orompaquenga as well.
I actually used to talk with Scumhead because before he called himself Scumhead. I really don't think he remembers me at all, but he is my biggest inspiration, and he really pushed me to be a game developer.
Wow, that's awesome. That's cool. So, in the early stages, he was kind of like almost a mentor to you.
Yeah, basically.
Wow, that's awesome. Um, that's so cool. So, a theme which has permeated your work is grappling with temptation. One of my favorite examples is Orompaquenga's save system. For those unaware, unlocking each save point involves giving a woman a C-section. While it's very useful, mechanically tempting even, to save the game, it presents the player with a moral dilemma. So, where does this type of thing come from?
Uh, well, I would need to get deep into the lore, but I think I can explain it. So the game is a bit about lust, you know, and so an unwanted child is often a product of non-controlled lust. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
there's this one corrupted enemy you see later on in the game. Um, that is the father of those kids. Um, is that there's some religious experiment going on there, and that's the reason for the save point. Really, I it's also based again on mode light because when you play mode light, the save point is a hand, and the hand is cut right here. So I don't know. I just thought about something to cut, and that came to my mind.
Right. You were just like, oh, this is a really evocative image. How can I incorporate something like this into the lore of my game? And I guess there's like a religious experiment going on involving like,
Yeah,
Lust and
and
things like
it's
this.
stuff related with the lore.
yeah, okay. Huh. That's fascinating. Yeah, I remember in games like, Warrior of Nowhere, which eventually became like Fear the Mind Glow, um, like there was definitely like a very strong theme of lust and like exterminating lust and um does that come from like a place within you, like from your history, or
It comes from things I've seen and personal experiences.
right, naturally? Yeah, okay. So for me, the pinnacle of Orompaquenga was ending B, where I just completely lost to the mass. Um, and so I was curious, what drove you to dedicate an entire ending to losing against the final boss?
Well, I actually, after releasing Rompakenga, I spent a whole month updating it and adding like, I think it was two more endings. And I tried to add more dialogues and new perspectives and making it look like there's something good in the mass.
Mm-hmm.
The change can be good,
Mm-hmm.
right? So losing doesn't mean the world being destroyed. Like maybe it simply changes for a different in a different way that might be better in different ways.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was worth exploring.
Yeah, absolutely worth exploring. The idea of accepting change is very powerful, you know. Um, Obviously, lots of big things going on in the world right now. Um, so I can imagine a lot of people identifying with that very deeply. Just being able to accept a change of the guard, accept, even if things look ugly, maybe following through with it for a little while. Um, yeah, that's a really powerful message. I love how you provide non-violent options in your games. Sure, Orompaquenga requires battle, but it also actively discourages meaningless combat. There are all these encounters with knights like looking over on the horizon, right? You don't necessarily need to hurt them. Um, this concept evolves further in Equi-Ungula, which includes no combat whatsoever. What draws you to this design philosophy?
I, I'm not entirely sure, but Equi-Ungula came to my mind when I was trying to think about an idea for a small game at 4 a.m. In the night. Um, and I saw myself as this priest reading a giant ant. A lot of metaphors. I love metaphors and symbolism.
Yeah.
And and I thought, you fight in like every single game. You fight even in under. Even if you avoid combat, there's and some initiation there. So I thought, what if you literally can't defend yourself in any way possible? Like you're completely defenseless. You are only there for the trouble. That's how the idea came to my mind.
Wow, that's so cool. You're only there for the trouble. I like that because it shows an awareness of everything that's been established in video games before then, you know? Seems like all these video games, they're so violent, right? But people have come up with some cool motifs, right? Like you still have the gore, the sort of the indications of battle. There's that snake that sort of ambushes you and stuff. Um, but it doesn't take you into the RPG battle screen, right? And I think that's so cool. Um, yeah, it's. I think you're probably one of the only people pushing that boundary right now. Will you continue this trend in your next project?
I'm actually trying it on my next game, so you
Okay.
can completely avoid fights altogether.
Wow. Okay, just completely like there's an option for fighting, but like there's another route.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's so interesting. So now that we've been talking about Equi-Ungula a little bit, um, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the horse design. So it's probably one of the most iconic designs from the game, in my opinion. The horse people. The player character, as well as a mysterious hooded informant, hail from this race. Are they just a riff on your brand, or do they come from another inspiration?
I I simply love horses. They are my favorite animal, and I wanted them to be the protagonist in one way or another. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm known as Horse Hoof Games, so
Naturally.
I wanted to have some kind of not exactly a mascot, but something that will be represented there. So I love horses. Why don't I have horses in my games?
Yeah, it seems to follow naturally from your sort of like the whole horse thing you have going on. You know, the game itself, Equi-Ungulate, that means like horse hoof, right? In Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fascinating. I guess I wanted to ask because I've seen some like Goya etchings where there's like they look very strikingly similar to some of the ideas that you came up with. And considering that you guys are both from Spain, I thought maybe there would be like a little bit of a inspiration there.
I What was the name of the painting? Oh, my teacher will kill me. I can remember the name of the painting, but like I actually grew up seeing these paintings and knowing about Goya a lot. I actually studied uh, art history, and he was basically everywhere. So
Oh yeah.
maybe he inspired me indirectly,
Okay.
especially his more abstract paintings.
Right on. So maybe like an indirect influence just by proximity. But yeah, that's cool to know that you just kind of came up with that by yourself. It definitely follows, a lot of the trends that you've shown in your work before. So I can see where you're coming from. Um, yeah. So in Equi-Ungula, you can choose one of two story paths. If you walk right, you'll be confronted with some profound criticisms on faith. And I was wondering, were you citing any specific text or religious idea here?
Mm, Not really, nothing.
Wow,
In fact, the game isn't really about religion. It's all a metaphor for something else.
that is fascinating. So you're processing some personal turmoil, perhaps, or
Uh, I took experiences from other people in a way that could be relatable.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to see there, but like there's a whole message. Everything you see on your path, it means something.
okay. So you've kind of like incorporated many experiences from other people in your life to create a cohesive message as you move left or right. Yeah, that's fascinating. Um, that is so awesome to hear that that's coming from like a personal place. You know, it speaks volumes that um, that level of introspection went into the criticisms there, and maybe it's not about religion, right? But for me, it definitely struck that chord. So
Yeah, I mean, you can take it as religious stuff too. It's open for interpretation too.
right, yeah, it's fascinating stuff, man. That brings us to my final question about Equi-Ungula. In the credits, you give special thanks to the children you helped at the kindergarten. Uh, has working with kids influenced your artwork at all?
Absolutely. In fact, I have this one rule where I'm breaking the rule for my next game actually, but I had this one rule where I don't I don't represent humans or animals from real life in my games. But in Equi-Ungula, every single character is an animal or something you know from real life.
Mhm.
It's not some invented creature. This happened because I'm a storyteller. I was a storyteller, and all the books my kids had were about animals, and especially my kids loved wolves. So they were really afraid of them, but they love them still. And I thought, what if I make every single character an animal, so like a children's story?
Hmm. Okay, that explains the sort of picture book quality to some of the characters. Yeah. Um, like I really enjoyed interacting with the rabbit people particularly. They're just kind of, it's like a slice of life. They're living their existence, and that works so well. But it does kind of feel like a storybook almost. Your fans are naturally very excited for your next project. It seems to be taking an entirely new art style with maybe even full motion video, some cool like FX animation going on. Would you be comfortable sharing any new information on this?
Well, the game is. I think I could reveal the name. The game is called Sunless in Caverna,
Mhm.
and it's based on inner earth conspiracies and stories like reptilians, hollow earth, and I remember seeing videos about that and was cave exploring videos, and I was like, this actually seems pretty cool for a game.
Yeah,
And a lot of ideas started coming. I started sketching. Um, that's how it started.
that's
It
fascinating.
was gonna be another pixel art game. I realized I make this game in pixel art. I needed to make it hand drawn. And that way, I think I can represent much better what the game and the ants is like.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Um, yeah, I've seen some of your like more hand drawn designs unfiltered on Instagram, and they're really great. Um, yeah, and it's cool to see you adventuring into different territory for sure. Um, yeah, so you said it's based on conspiracy theories like reptilians and something about the air. What was that?
The Hollow Air.
So what is the Hollow Earth conspiracy? Is there like is it like that something's living beneath or?
It's basically about tons of different super advanced species and creatures living under the earth, underground. Like there's dinosaurs underground, or lizard people, or maybe like gods and stuff like that. And I find that really interesting to work with. To work with.
Wow, yeah, for sure. Especially since there are probably so many passionate, convinced people, that really think that there are things going on down there. Um, yeah, that's got to be really great food for inspiration. Um, Wonderful ideas. I can't wait to see where you come up with or what you come up with for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. My next question. Uh, Many great indie games hail from Spain, including some of my favorites, Blasphemous and Unepic. If I understand correctly, you're from Andalusia, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. What's been your experience in the Andalusian indie dev scene?
I don't really know how to reply to this. I don't see anything different really, and also I don't really know any other Spanish developers. Sadly,
Oh,
everyone I know is from another country.
Hmm. Okay. Well, right on. Yeah, maybe in different places there's more or less activity.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
like there's no much. I remember finding another Spanish game developer, but he wasn't from Andalusia, and I don't really remember him. Like, I'm sorry,
Right on.
but it's just it was something. It was a small chat.
Hmm. Right on. Okay. And my final question for you. Obviously, your games take heavy inspiration from the Souls series. In previous interviews, you mentioned Dark Souls 2 specifically, right? Um, have you played Elden Ring?
Yes, I have way too many hours.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I've got like nearly 200 hours at this point. It's unfortunate, but what? Have you played the DLC though?
No, I actually haven't. I haven't had the time. Sorry.
Ah, right on, right on. Well, what were your opinions on Elden Ring as it compares to like something like Dark Souls?
I think it might be the From Software's magnum opus
Really?
so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's really big. It got to a lot of people, and the designs, the ambience, the lore. I think it's great in comparison. I mean, the other games were very good too, and very great. I still prefer Dark Souls to Elden Ring, but I think Elden Ring is their magnum opus.
Oh, so you prefer Dark Souls 2 over Elden Ring?
Yes.
But artistically, you're like, okay, I acknowledge that this is technically better.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I
maybe
feel you.
I like it because it's darker. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely made a bit of a tonal shift with Elden Ring. Um, but I can see what you mean about like, okay, now they're reaching way more people, right? It's you can't argue with the idea that it's so much bigger, and it makes me very excited to see what they come up with next. Like how can they expand on the open world idea and make it even feel like intentional, like Dark Souls?
In the same way.
Exactly.
Loved Elden Ring. Glad to hear you feel similarly about it. So, you might not know this, but Electric Airship and this podcast are funded by console game sales. So, if you like dark, uh, long form JRPGs like Orompaquenga with a taste of surrealism, then I implore you to check out this trailer. Thanks so much for watching. Back to the program. And we do have some fan questions today from your Discord. So let me open these up. Okay, number one. Who was Lamarck?
So, um, that was a NPC that you fought in a very old unfinished game I used to work in. And Lamarck is the name of a biologist. I just was in class and I saw his name. I was like, oh, I think Lamarck is a cool name, and I just put that name. So, and I think I know who made that question, and he
Yeah.
knows about that game, and he keeps repeating me this question: Who was Lamarck? Who was Lamarck?
Yeah.
He was a biologist.
Okay.
I just like his name.
Right on. Okay. That was from Combine.
Something silly.
Yeah. Hilarious that they keep bringing that up. Okay. So next few questions are from somebody called TLN. Number one, what does the word Orompaquenga mean?
It means nothing. It's completely random.
Completely random. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. A lot of the things in that game are sort of made up, like sort of very sci-fi out there things. So it would make sense for the name to be made up as well.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for more projects set in the same universe as Orompaquenga?
Yes, there are. And I've been planning. I've been as we were talking about Elden Ring being a magnum opus. I've been planning my magnum opus being set in the same universe, but
Oh, okay.
it will take some years.
Okay, that sounds really cool. Uh, does it continue the game story?
It's not really, but you can see elements from the. You will see elements from Orompaquenga in there.
Right on, right on. Is it related at all to Superborn or?
It's related to Superborn. Yes.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that gets me very excited. Cool. Next question comes from River the Shark, which is what messages do you try to portray with your games?
I kinda like I want to keep it a secret, but like and so people need to think about it, like what could this mean, or being open to interpretation.
Hmm.
But my message could be maybe try to say something general because on Pakenga and Equi-Ungula and my next project too are very different from each other. But don't overthink. Be comfortable with yourself, and don't fall for evil tricks or manipulation from evil people in your life.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay. Um, that is a very good ideology to be promoting with your work. Moo Man asks, what are some things you wish your games had, or maybe that they don't have?
Maybe more content. I mean, it's always I'm always scope creeping, but you can never have it all. So
Yeah. As they say, art is never complete, right?
Yeah, it's never completed. Not in my eyes.
Hmm. Right on. So more content. Do you feel that way specifically about any particular thing?
Maybe Orompaquenga. I feel like it's a very unfinished game. I mean, I had to make some cuts. I like there are some enemies and entire zones that didn't make it into the final game.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I can see why you're motivated to return for that for your opus. Then. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And Buckman finally asks, um, what plans do you have to help more people find your games?
I don't know. I I'm really bad with marketing. I have no idea how to make more people know about my games. I thought about mm, moving Orompaquenga to Steam, so maybe more people can see it and know about it. I'm not sure about it.
I think honestly, you probably should.
Yeah,
Yeah, because people need to see that game. It's like it's a classic in many ways.
I remember searching about Orompaquenga, and a lot of people said that the game was hardly known because the name was way too difficult to say or remember, and they are right.
In a way, maybe it's easy to it's searchable, right? So you type in Orompaquenga and it's going to be the only thing that comes up at least.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, but I do definitely think that Steam could be really good for Orompaquenga getting exposure. Just speaking from personal experience, um, Blood Orange reached a certain amount of people on itch, but on Steam it reached nearly 60 times that amount. Yeah, and so it is worth it to just put a game up for free on Steam, in my opinion. um,
Yeah.
yeah. uh, yeah, you should. um, yeah, but that's the end of the fan questions. um, yeah, is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about?
Mm, well, with about my next project, or should I say projects, I'm actually working on two games at once, and for once, I'm not completely alone. I got my own brother as a very small team, so we can speed up the process. Um, I'm probably going to make demos so people can play a bit about the game before it releases.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Yeah. That's going to be really good. So you've got your brother helping. Is he doing like music, or like what part of development does he help with?
He's doing art. He's really talented when it comes to drawing.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I can see what you mean. Like, I mean, it obviously involves a ton of art to create something like a Rompakanga, like a full JRPG.
So,
Actually, the drawings when you enter a fight, he's responsible for all the drawings in Orompaquenga.
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
I didn't know how to make them at the time.
Oh my goodness. I just thought, oh, it's got to be Isopodomancer drawing those. That is fascinating. Okay. Wow. Well, so he's helped you in the past, and now it sounds like maybe he's even stepping up his involvement.
Yeah, he's more involved than ever.
Wow, that's awesome. Uh, well, very curious to see how he influences the trajectories of this new conspiracy theory project, and whatever else you're working on.
So
It's a secret.
what's that? Secrets?
It's a secret.
Oh my goodness. You're teasing us.
I mean, the secret. Well, I talked about this Sunless in Caverna, my next project.
Mm-hmm.
But the other project I'm keeping a secret is actually releasing in very soon.
Very soon. Oh my goodness. Well, that gets me very excited. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, something coming out very soon. Something for people to be very excited about. I'll be looking forward to it. And yeah. Wow. Okay. So, always a privilege to see you. Always a privilege to hear
Thank you.
Where,
Thank you.
where you're coming from, and thanks so much for being here and answering these questions, for being your fans.
A pleasure.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day.
Same.
yeah.
Have a nice day.